just because someone has an ability or something doesn't mean that they see it. It doesn't mean that they can embody that all the time. My name is Micah. My last name is James, Micah James. I work with a sense of impermanence. It's kind of a theme I like, a concept, or maybe just an art practice. Primarily, I come from like a music background. I make music. I always have. I rap and write songs and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a foundational base, I would say, for where my just like my creative source in some ways. But then you take that and that spirit and apply it to other things, and that's kind of a fun way to work. The blues, as I have long understood or felt it, growing up, like it's just so much of a more, it's a vibrant concept in a way. It's being able to access those feelings of like, I guess sadness or just, melancholy maybe, but it's like taking that and understanding that it's like that's only part of the picture. And there's a huge narrative arc about like everyone's personal situation, and just being able, I think it's more appreciation of the ability to have the blues. It's like a blessing to be able to like access that part of you and communicate it. It's very vulnerable, it's very like emotional, but it speaks to a higher like kind of like joy almost, I would say. It's like recognizing that this is just part of this full circle that we're in. I thought of this concept that always gets thrown around, the tragic figure, in culturally, throughout literature and music and whatever. And that always makes me think of Phyllis Hyman, because she was described as that by many people. So the video begins with a group of background singers. They're about to go out on tour. So they're about to have like their first rehearsal session with this singer who is in the likeness of Phyllis Hyman. It was kind of vital to me to find someone who loosely resembles her. Like she's doing that cocky thing almost, or she's like, what are y'all sitting around laughing at? Like it's kind of that vibe, but she's just joking with them. Like they feel that tension because she is that kind of person. She's like, oh, she's very important. But then she releases it and everyone's like, cool, this is like a very like family kind of thing. Like we love each other. We've been out on tour with her before. She's great. We just love being around her. It's like that. For this tour they're gonna go out on, and they run through it excellently. It sounds perfect to anyone on the outside listening. It's like, it's amazing. And the singers themselves, I think, they remark as much, or they're like, wow, like it sounded great. And the lead singer doesn't hear it that way. She's like, something is off, like someone's note is wrong, something's happening. I don't know what it is. But we need to go over it again, which is like so strange to everyone else, but that's just where she's at. Phyllis committed suicide in 1995, just before, I want to say, her 45th birthday. And all these people, it's just like it's the assumption of like a great talent thrown away. And usually it's like centered around like maybe drug use or mental illness. And it kind of always, I think it's really like prescriptive, and it has like an undertone of, if only this person did this, if only like they made these choices, like if they did it the way they should have done it, then they would still be here, or they would still, they wouldn't, I wouldn't be looking on them with such loss. And that's part of it too. It's like that feeling, like that kind of like, talking and describing people in that way is more about our loss of them and the grief that we're processing. It's really not, to me, about them or the choices that they've made in their lives. I wanted to highlight that even though in the end, Phyllis Hyman committed suicide, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a time, or that she didn't feel like, I don't want this. I don't want to be sad. I don't want this pain. She chose like to do like to be strong, you know what I mean? And so the taking of her own life doesn't change that for me. It's not like she gave up. It's not like a failure to me, but just because of the way she sings that song, it's really like heartbreaking because of how strong she sounds. Like that's the thing. It's like it doesn't sound like someone who is sad about things. It's like acceptance and it's understanding, and it's like I'm still here kind of vibe.
Yes, I'm gonna ache, but I will not break. Some things I can
Trying to reframe it and trying to think about what like these what ifs. I think it keeps us from just understanding what is and what, you know, and like how do we deal with that, and how do we move forward, and how do we, you know, respect a life, you know, and respect, you know, people and what they've done.